What up, Holmes? It's been a couple weeks since my last upload. I keep going through all kinds of ideas for a podcast name or a show name. I'm probably going to eventually have different channels for different things. The most recent idea I came up with was called Chop It Up. Not a bad idea. But I also think maybe I'll just keep it Randolphimus Prime. Who knows? Or if I do call it Chop It Up, I'll have my different channels. Chopping up this, chopping up that, whatever the theme is. As of right now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have any good ideas as far as sometimes I just feel worthless. I don't know how many of you guys can relate to this, but I don't have any hobbies really. I don't really have any amazing skills or talents. It feels like I feel like I'm kind of brain damaged. I'm afraid to go get an IQ test or try to get diagnosed for autism or some shit. I don't want to know those answers. Or checked for dementia or some shit. But I just feel like my brain, I feel like a lot of the time I don't. Maybe I just need to organize things more. If I could just organize things, write them down, then my brain could process them better, probably. Rather than just going live and just being like this. But I feel like I'm not knowledgeable enough on anything. On cars, on business, crypto, stock market, politics, philosophy, history, anything interesting or helpful. The only thing that I think I really have is comedy. So, what do you think? Am I funny? Right. I know I am. I'm just not really showing it right now. And it's unfortunate because weed has really fucked me up. And luckily it's just weed, luckily it's the only thing that I have in my life that really is something that I'm addicted to, besides food and coffee. I'm not addicted to cigarettes anymore. I haven't had a desire to have a cigarette in 2 years. And whenever I do, it's kind of have an ace of that, and then I usually regret having that ace. So, but I never really liked. The only other thing that even came close was Adderall, 8 years ago. I like to do Adderall a lot. But nothing else, thankfully. I never really liked cocaine. Downers scare the fuck out of me. I've never had a redeemable, enjoyable time on any of these substances to begin with, to make it even remote. First of all, it's not even enjoyable to me. So, thankfully, I don't enjoy it. Only other drug I've really truly enjoyed, besides weed, was nicotine and Adderall. But I've put all that behind me. I haven't done any drug besides weed or nicotine in years, like at least like a very long time. Like I can't remember. You know, if I did ever do a line of cocaine, it was like just fuck it, yeah, sure, we're partying, yeah, line here, I'll do a line, fuck it. But that was I can't even remember if that happened. Like I don't even remember. Like if anybody asked me for cocaine right now, they put a bunch of cocaine for free in front of me. It's like it's yours. I probably wouldn't do it. Plus, I don't enjoy putting things up my nose. If any, I would find a different way to ingest it, and I would not put it in my arm. So a lot of people say. I've heard some people say they put cocaine in their arm. Fuck. Mix it with some water. Inject it into their fucking veins. Jesus Christ. Luckily, I've never tried heroin, and luckily, like I said, downers scare the fuck out of me. Downers scare the shit out of me, dude. So, like, one time, I was, partying, having a good time. This is, like, 8 years ago, when I was doing all kinds of drugs. Anything from Xanax to Perks to Adderall to cocaine to weed. And I mean, nothing like crazy. I wasn't like a huge fucking druggie, but like I like to have fun. At least when I party, I party. And I remember I got this Opana, I think it was Opana 30, and small little, like small as the circumference of a pink eraser on a pencil, with the thickness of a nickel. It's very small. And I'd already been drinking shots of Jack Daniels. And I'd been smoking weed all day. And so we have this Opana 30. And, my lazy fucking fucked up self, has a sink full of dishes, like overflowing with dishes. And I'm like, oh well, let's cut this in half so I can split it with my boy. And I decided to try to cut it in half with a steak knife, right on the counter, right next to the overflowing sink full of disgusting ass weeks old dishes. And so I cut it in half. It flings away so fast that I don't know where it went. I don't know where it went. And I will say, thankfully, I'm not addicted to many things. Thankfully, I don't find many drugs enjoyable. But I do have an addictive personality. And if I like something, I like it. And if I have my desire set on something, I want it. I guess you could say I could be obsessive or compulsive, OCD, whatever. But I was expecting, we're gonna split this. We're gonna split this upon a 30. It'll be good enough to get us both lit, So now that we cut it in half, and it flung off to God knows where, now I'm in straight fiend mode, searching everywhere across the whole kitchen, including the sink, everywhere, trying to find the other half of this. After like an hour of me being pissed as fuck, scavenging like a fucking drug addict, fucking insane person, I couldn't find it, and I'm just like, fuck, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm not even gonna get high off this. Me and my boy are both complaining, like, damn, now we gotta split the 15 in half. Barely gonna get high. We were just really bummed the fuck out and pissed about it, so, like, fuck it, whatever. So, I ended up taking it. Took another shooter, probably. No, I don't think I took another shooter after that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I was drinking shooters up until then anyway. I probably like 4 shots in the last hour. And so I take it, and I remember going out onto the porch and ripping a bowl that I had, and I was ripping this bowl with weed in it, hard as fuck. You know, I'm already drunk, I'm already lit, I'm ready to fucking rail this thing like I ain't even gonna feel it. Torching this bowl down. And I used to do this dumbass thing where I'd hold it in for like a minute. Like, oh, I think I'm getting so high because the THC is like going down and soaking into my body through my veins because I'm holding it in. It's complete fraud. It doesn't even work. It's like once you inhale, like it's you can't hold it in there extra longer. You get higher. Like you inhale and it gets delivered. Maybe for like 1 or 2 seconds. But holding your breath for like 30 seconds for a minute is just dumb. You're just proving that you can hold your breath. You're not getting any higher. Besides the fact of getting lightheaded from the lack of oxygen temporarily. Well, not only did I get lightheaded, I started blacking out. I went into a straight blackout. Like I faded into a straight blackout, and I was blind for 10 minutes. Not only was I blind, but like I felt like I was dying. According to my peers, my friends that were partying with me, my face was white and my lips were purple, and I couldn't see. And you know that feeling of when you stand up too fast, you kind of black out for a second, or you hit a dab rig and you black out for a second. Imagine that intensity of like pressure on your head and on your brain, that pressure that happens, you know, that tightness, tension you have in your muscles in your head right here when you black out. It became so massive and insane, dude. I literally thought I was dying. Like I literally thought, and I probably was dying. I was on the borderline of death. So I'm just sitting there freaking the fuck out, standing there, like my eyes aren't closed, they're open. And I'm like, I can't see, and you know, most of them thought it was a joke, but my roommate noticed, and he went and got me some water, and I had some spaghetti. And fucking sorry, my friend just texted me. But started eating and drinking, and you know, eventually I came back to, and here I am. I'm still here today. But that was kind of the wake-up call for me of heavy skepticism when it came to downers. And downers already had their things anyways. Like, I don't like being tired. You know what I mean? And so it's just, I never really was into those kind of types of drugs to begin with. But yeah, so long story short, fuck the downers. You know, I mean, I think a couple times after that, I might have taken a half a Xanax a couple times. Because I started getting into Adderall. I was still into Adderall. And, you know, when you're crashing down off an upper, that horrible, dreadful feeling. Adderall is the worst. Adderall is like you want to kill yourself the entire time you're coming down. Like, it is just complete depression. And so that's why when I would do Adderall, I'd also be drunk as fuck and stoned as fuck. And then I would take a little half a Xanax when I felt like it was time to go to bed so I could gradually fall asleep without the horrifying coming down feeling that doesn't let you go to sleep. And so I've done it. I've done the Xanax a couple half, but I would only do a half a Xanax. And that was the only time I ever did it. Was just so I can go to sleep after a night of doing Adderall, which I don't do anymore. I don't do uppers. I don't do downers. All I really do is just smoke weed, and that's the only problem I have still. I'll smoke a vape every now and then. Like, I'm on and off vaping like a lot. Like, I mean, if I get a vape, I'll be on it for a while, but like I can get off it. Like, I've been on and off nicotine and weed a lot over the past year or so. I quit, and see, the thing with weed is like that is enough for me. Like, weed is a hard drug. People try to act like weed's not a hard drug. It's a hard drug. Like, that shit gets you fucked up. I don't give a fuck what people say. Use the weed. Whoa. You're fucking feeling it. So why do I even need any of the drugs? And weed doesn't give you, like, it can give you a feeling of anxiety, and to some people it does give them crippling anxiety. But compared to like Adderall or compared to fucking cocaine, I've never had that kind of horrifying depressed feeling as much about weed. The only time I ever do like feel like shit doing weed is just when I know I shouldn't be doing it. When I was trying to quit. It just depends on how much my give a fuck meter is up or down. If my give a fuck meter is very high, chances are I'm probably not gonna do weed. But if I'm tempering and leaning towards giving a fuck, but I'm also in a vulnerable moment emotionally, so, and then I end up getting, but not even that big of a deal. Just me coming up with a fucking excuse to fucking smoke, and then I would smoke and I would regret it, and then of course I got that strain of weed that gets you super extra paranoid. So now I'm just like extra paranoid about my entire life. But I mean, besides like paranoia, which is the thing that is fun about weed, like weed's, I would say, I mean, I don't want to downplay it. Like, thankfully, that's the only thing I'm addicted to on one hand. But on the other hand, it's like the one thing that's holding me back still. And weed is very concentrated these days, and I'm hearing studies of like people getting like Alzheimer's, and not Alzheimer's, but like maybe it's schizophrenia, like a higher chance, especially from these ultra concentrated buds that we have these days. With that said, I'm considering getting high tonight, because I've been getting high pretty much most of the week, besides yesterday. And I don't know, man. Kind of just want to get high one more time, you know. But I feel like it's just killing my brain cells. I feel like I don't know. I mean, I'm already kind of ditzy to begin with. I'm already kind of airheaded to begin with. Blonde, over my head, unaware, gullible, ditzy, like all those things kind of already naturally, if I have always been that way. My mom's that way. So I would say my brain maybe isn't as equipped to handle weed, because when I smoke, good luck. I don't like being high in public. One thing I will say is that's changed since I've gotten older and I've had kids, is that being high in public usually not what I'm trying to do. And if I am, I'm not trying to socialize with nobody. Like, I'm never going on a date with a female high. unless we've been together for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that. Weed, it's weird because like sometimes I do it for enjoyment. Well, usually I do it for enjoyment. It's the only reason I ever do it is for enjoyment. But I would say like sometimes I do it because I am depressed or sometimes I'll just do it because I want to do it, or it's enticing, or it's right there, readily available, and it sounds like a good time. Um, but also, like, I can go a long time without it. Like, as much as I love being high, I hate not having my life together. And kind of whenever things get out of hand is when I quit usually. So, because again, I have a very addictive personality. Because I, for the most part, really love weed. It's hard for me to like get like an ounce and like make it last a week or a month. If I got an ounce, actually, that'll last me a minute. So I usually probably go with like a quarter a week. So my tolerance, like I never really even ever smoked that much, dude. Like my tolerance has always been low. I've always been a bowl smoker. Like, yeah, I mean, you got a bong, you got a blunt, you got a spliff, you got a joint, you got a whatever, you got a dab pen, fuck it, you know. But as far as personally, I've always been efficient with my weed. I usually pack a nice fat one hitter, torch it down, hit it. You know, want another hit, pack another one hitter. Fat ass one hitter, torch that down, all in one hit, boom. That's the best way to do it because you're not really wasting any weed, and every hit you take is like a full force. You're torching it all down. You're not leaving anything behind. You're not wasting anything. And so, I mean, I guess it's one good thing. And there's some entertaining things about me being high. Like if you can get me comfortable and you can get me talking, like that's the thing. If I'm high, like sometimes my brain already, like I said, because of me smoking, I feel like I got brain damage. And especially when I'm high, I'm in temporarily brain damage at a much larger extent. And which is again part of the things that I like about it. And sometimes I could be high and I'll just be so tongue tied and so brain slow and so scatterbrained at the same time that I don't really like saying anything because I feel like I'm not going to talk correctly and I'm going to put my 2 cents in and I'm going to be exposed as a fucking retard. So, but if you can get me comfortable while I'm high, you know, and you can get the ball rolling. If I can get my ball rolling, if you ask me a question, you want my opinion, depending on the strain of weed, depending on where I'm at mentally, I can go on a rant. I'll go on a rant. But sometimes, sometimes when it's really a problem, it's like when, say like you're high, but something happens where somebody needs your help. Like they need some like good like sound advice. And it's like, damn, well, I can't really give you advice right now because I'm stoned as fuck. Like, I can't put together a comprehensive monologue for you here. I can't. Like, and then it's like, damn, now I'm upset because I got high. I could have been doing God's work and helping somebody through a tough time. But nope, I decided to get high. You know, just things like that. You know, but Tell you the feeling I have right now. If I went and got some bud right now, I wouldn't be that upset. But that's only because I've been smoking for the last like 3 months, anyways. So it's one more day of me smoking. You know what I mean? Like if I went and I said, okay, I'm quitting, and like everything's going good, and then I smoke. I don't know. My brain's weird. My brain is weird. How I feel changes a lot. I'm very moody, definitely. I don't really have favorites. That's why I don't have favorites. I'm gonna have favorites, but I don't have like a favorite. You know what I mean? I don't have a favorite color, or a favorite food, or a favorite movie, or a favorite actor, or a favorite band. I mean, I guess, generally speaking, anything that involves a guitar and drums, I'd prefer, in principle, over something more electronic or hip hoppy. Um, and there's things that I don't like. I know there's things that I like and there's things I don't like. And what I like, I like. Not always. Not always in the mood. But fuck, if I like it, I like it. And if I don't like it, it's because it sucks. And I'm a little bit narcissistic. I do think that my opinions are better as far as my taste in foods and music. Although on the same token, I am very open to other people's opinions, and open to grow and expand and discover. Um, so where was I trying to go with this? I don't know. I should just probably just start posting every day and just see what happens. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna watch this anyways. So I need to do more mass, overwhelming avalanches of posting to where I will not be denied. I will not be denied. Undeniable. That could be the name of it. Undeniable. Undeniable. Favorites. Yeah, you know. So I mean, I brains all over the place. So it's just like I'm 30 years old, and man, I mean, I'm slightly getting better through my life. Like from basically wait. Pretty much from like 19 till like 20, I lived with my grandma. I mean, I lived with my parents, growing up. But after graduating high school, so I grew up in a small town, okay? Mexico High School. I lived in a small town outside of Mexico called Palermo. It's in upstate New York. It's Oswego County. And, I mean, great school district, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, when I was in kindergarten, in middle school, I was definitely not a cool kid. I was raised by a Pentecostal, very sheltering family. So I was definitely not fucking cool. That's not called being cool. You're not a cool kid when your parents don't let you celebrate Halloween, and your parents don't let you go to the sexual education class, and all you're allowed to listen to is Christian contemporary music, in Alabama, and you can't watch any movies that are over PG-13 or that are PG-13. You can't even watch anything PG-13, like besides Spider-Man. And I couldn't watch like anything like as far as like I couldn't watch Harry Potter because of witchcraft. I couldn't watch like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. I think it's because it's some kind of like extracurricular, fictional religion, spiritual structure of storyline that, if you're a Christian, it's idolatry. How can you find enjoyment in somebody else's religion, and become a fan of something based off that? How could you do that if you're a Christian? So I was sheltered from Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, fucking Harry Potter. I didn't have a PlayStation until after the PlayStation 2 came out. So imagine all your friends talking about how they got a PlayStation and you don't have one. And now the PlayStation 2's coming out, and now it's Christmas, and my parents, they got me a PlayStation 1 out of a fucking junkyard. They had a friend who owned a junkyard, and that's where they got the PlayStation. It's like, oh wow, congratulations to us. Congratulations. And I mean, hey, once we got the PlayStation, it wasn't too long after we got the PlayStation 2. And we play the fuck out of those consoles. Need for Speed, High Stakes, Dukes of Hazzard, NASCAR. I love racing games. I love driving games. Then PlayStation 2 came out. Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Need for Speed Carbon. More NASCAR games. More Dukes of Hazzard games. This is pretty much the main games that I would play. Is Need for Speed. Well, Gran Turismo also. Gran Turismo OG. Love Gran Turismo. So NASCAR, Gran Turismo, Dukes of Hazzard, Need for Speed. 4 main popular franchises of video games I play. And so I was way behind the ball, right, on PlayStation. Was not allowed to watch PG-13 movies. Like, including, Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm literally in school. I'm seeing my classmates wearing Too Fast, Too Furious shirts. And talking about PlayStation games. So what the fuck do I know about that? I'm going in, and so I'm not the cool kid. Can't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't talk to you about Harry Potter. I can't talk to y'all about Pokemon. Like, I can't talk to y'all about nothing. Y'all heard of Jesus? I'm wearing a Got Jesus shirt, like the Got Milk. I'm wearing a Got Jesus shirt. Like, that's me. So I was not cool, and couldn't celebrate Halloween. All those things. And I go to play blocks with the kids. Be like, no, sorry, we're playing blocks. We don't have enough for you. Go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Just stupid shit like that. So, and then in middle school, middle school is always an awkward stage. I feel like for kids, it's the most awkward stage. It's because they're going from a kid to being basically almost an adult. They're hitting puberty and everything like that. So middle school was fine. It was fine. Still didn't really have any friends. Had a couple friends I'd hang out with sometimes, but I wasn't really bullied in middle school. I mean, it just still wasn't popular. I was never really bullied to begin with, but like people weren't really mean to me. Is what I was saying. Like people were actually like, some kids would like actually be like cold to me and like mean to me and like say I couldn't play with them. I mean, and then in middle school I just wasn't that. I just started getting a couple friends. And then in high school, I stopped giving a fuck what people thought about me. Well, I mean, in a lot of ways. I mean, it's easy to say that, but let's keep it real. I mean, please. Like, I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me. I mean, I just do give a fuck. I do give a fuck what people think about me. I mean, but not that much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that offended by things. I mean, I am, but like, I'm not. I'm pretty chill. And I'm not somebody who's just gonna try to be cool. I'm not trying to fit in. You know what I mean? I feel like I was trying, because I wasn't cool. I was like trying to fit in a lot of ways. As soon as I got a couple friends, you know what I mean, and I went up the social credit score, I started becoming a lot more of a tool and a dick to those other kids that used to be down on that level, but they weren't anymore. I mean, kids that I used to be down on that level with them, but now I've gone up, and now I'm looking down on them. Like, oh yeah, see, you're not cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just be a tool. I'll be a fucking tool. Then high school came around, kind of, the whole Columbine thing. They had a national tour of motivational speakers about Columbine, about bullying, and so I kind of checked myself on a lot of the bullying that I was starting to kind of I wasn't really bullying, but I was just like ignoring, not really hanging out with, acting like people that were cool, that I was cool with, that I wasn't cool with them anymore. Like, I was too good for them. So I kind of dropped that, and then in high school was great. People loved me. You know what I mean? When you stop caring as much, people start loving you more. And so that's one of the lessons I learned very early in high school. Thankfully, I will say. Was never really that good with women, though. I see that's the one thing I did give a fuck about too much, I feel like. But I feel like I didn't give enough of a fuck about, because I didn't know what I was doing. With women, I didn't get no ass until after high school. But you already know all about this. So anyways, I grew up in a small town, Mexico, New York, right? And I was doing pretty good in school. I was either merit or honor roll. Usually, I was passing. I was doing fine. Nothing was catastrophic. I was just passing everything, no problem. Everything was at least 80s and above, right? And discovered weed between the summer of 11th grade and 12th grade. Fell in love with that shit. And throughout this whole time, all the way up until now, I've been doing cross country, track, and indoor track for the fall, winter, spring of the school year every year. Started to get high the summer after 11th grade, and it was the best thing I had ever done. I mean, and here I am still addicted to weed. I mean, weed is it's so good in so many ways. I mean, I don't gotta tell you people, like, dude, when I used to get high, I used to cry. I used to literally cry because of how high I was, out of enjoyment. It would be such an overwhelming feeling of highness. And I'm like, holy cow, holy fuck. Kyle, you know how I told you about the different levels of high? Well, I went from like 1 to 2 to like 3. Dude, in the last like 20 seconds, I just went to like level 10. I'm fucked. And I look at him, he look at me, we look at each other dead in the eyes, and we just lose it. Start geeking out, laughing so hard. I'm like hitting my chest, trying to like fucking work my way through this to the point trying to have to like. And we were like usually in our car driving around Stone, an old abandoned skate park, overtook by weeds, hiding in the bushes in my little Neon. I'm just sitting there, just. I would have to get out of the car, run across the parking lot, just because of I mean, I can go down a whole story of different shenanigans that would happen when I was high. A lot of funny stories. I mean, there's a reason why I love weed. I mean, weed would just, oh my god, it was just shenanigans the whole time. It was just hilarity the entire time I was high. It was fantastic. But it was a distraction. While I was able to stick to sports, it's funny. So I did cross country, track, right, and indoor track. Freshman, 10th, 11th grade, right? I got high after 11th grade, all summer. Then I get the bright idea, oh, well now my brain's been recalibrated. I have this great idea. Why don't I do cheerleading? Because Mexico had always had at least one male cheerleader in every year that I had noticed since I had been there. So I wanted to carry the tradition. So I figured it was my turn. I'm like, I'm going to do cheerleading. I mean, hey, I like girls. And they liked me as a friend, a lot like a friend. They loved me, but as a friend, for the most part. I mean, I will say actually that I had 2 girlfriends from cheerleading, actually. So, I mean, I guess I would say I got, some things out of it, but I didn't get any ass. But did cheerleading and barely graduated. Like, luckily I did pass with an advanced Regents diploma because I passed and got enough credits to get that. But on one hand, I had enough credits, but there was one class that if I failed, it was physics. I would have not graduated. So, anyways, I'll continue this later because a little turtle's popping out.